God created man with a deep personal need for a meaning, for a purpose. That's why it's somewhat natural that people are attracted to those who seem to have it all together, who seem to have found the secret to success. And in fact, with very minimal effort, you can find courses and books that purport to give you the answer, the secret to success in any topic that you're interested in. Now, what we need to recognize is, though, for God's people, there really truly is a secret to success. So I want to accomplish two things today. And one is to share the actual secret. For God's people, what is the secret? But the other is to address kind of the challenge, the tendency, and everybody has it to a degree, where we look at someone else who seems to have success. And the tendency is to try to copy that, to imitate it, like they have the secret sauce. We see it even among leaders where they'll copy the style. In fact, in some cases, they'll change the name of their church even to copy another because somehow that might be where the blessing is. We'll come back to the moment, but let's look at what is the secret. Now, in our last episode, we talked about greater works. Jesus, as he was preparing to leave, told his disciples that those who believe will do even greater works, greater miracles than I did, because whatever you ask, it will be done because it brings the Father glory. So how does that relate to the actual secret? Now, the secret does require a tiny bit of work. It requires focus, but it's not that bad. In fact, that's where you'll find meaning, purpose, fulfilling. And as we get into it, one of the things to recognize is God's calling and purpose for you is absolutely individual and unique. And we need to help people understand that. Why? Well, first off, our God is so big and amazing, he doesn't do cookie cutter. And he cares for each one so much love for each one that it's very unique. His plan and purpose for each one is unique. So even if you have a similar calling, pastor, business person, whatever it may be, that calling and purpose is still absolutely unique. So, what's the secret? Well, I encourage you to go read John chapter 15. Now, first thing we need to understand is Jesus said something that is fundamental. It's a principle. It's foundational. We have to understand. He says, apart from me, you can do nothing. What we have to understand is anything that we accomplish just with our talent, he gave us a talent. Anything we can accomplish with our talent and our efforts on our own probably isn't going to be long lasting, but more importantly, it's not going to give you that fulfillment, that meaning, and that purpose. But he goes on, and in verses 7 and 8 is where I want you to focus. He says, if you remain in me and my words remain in you, you can ask anything you want and it will be granted to you. Because when you produce fruit, you're my true disciples, and it brings glory. Anything you want? Why is this the secret? Well, remember, what did we see last time in greater works? Jesus said, he who believes will do greater works, greater miracles, and you'll be able to ask anything you want. As we remain in him, see, it takes focus. As we remain in him and his word remains in us, first off, our desires are shifted. Our desires come into alignment with his. And we can ask boldly. And we should ask boldly because then God is glorified when the amazing happens. And we do bear fruit. And as the Bible tells us, he wants fruit that remains, fruit that's permanent, fruit that has an impact. So what's the secret? What the simple thing is to focus, keep our focus on him and on the word. And in that unique calling that God has, allow him to draw that out. Allow him to draw that out, show you the opportunities, pray the big prayers, and see the amazing happen. See God glorified. But again, back to the fact that we are all absolutely unique. So can we look at someone else? And should we look at someone else who is succeeding? Well, you know what? In a healthy way, yes. Now, do we copy? Do we imitate? No. But should we allow, well, first off, if we're confident in someone else is succeeding, we're not competing. We're cheering them on. They're fulfilling their purpose. We shouldn't be threatened by that. We should be cheering them on. But we also should look and say, okay, what are they doing well? Let those things that intrigue us, let those things that challenge us, get our attention. Take those to the Lord as we're remaining in Him and the Word remains in us. Don't just copy them, but go, Lord, that's got my attention. How does that work? Is that something important for us? Is there an adjustment for us to make? Allow those things to challenge us. But most importantly, be that unique individual that God called you to be and created you. He created you before the foundation of the earth, and He made you absolutely unique. And the reality is, whether you realize it or not, whether you're in business, you're a student, whatever you do, God's people are called to ministry. Ministry just means simply to serve others. God has this absolutely unique call, purpose, and gifting for each one of His people. We need them to understand that, and that as they will remain in Him and His Word remains in them, changes happen. Life grows. We're able to ask boldly, and the amazing happens. And in the process, God is glorified. So, what do? We recognize that everyone has this need for significance. How do we help them find it? We help them focus on Jesus and recognize that as they do, what will flow out of that is fruit that will remain.